our head. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, God, we thank you so much for this and another day. We thank you so much, Lord, for our wonderful blessings, Lord, that you bestowed upon us today. Lord, we come to you now, Lord, ask that you bless this city meeting, Lord, bless every item on the agenda, Lord, bless everybody in attendance, Lord. We ask all these things in your dear gracious Heavenly name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm going to call the Corbin City Commission meeting to order, January 17th at 5 p.m. with a roll call, please.
Moore. Here. Shepherd.
Here.
Baker.
Here.
Gamble.
Here.
Rasmus.
Here. All right, actually, I was calling the Corbin City Hall Public Corporation public meeting to order with a roll call, and that was it. That was the roll call. Is that okay, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. The first thing on the agenda is to elect the officers. I think I elect myself president, I elect Allison vice president, and I elect Brandon Shepherd as our secretary treasurer. I need a motion to approve those appointments.
Make motion.
You all can second your own voice.
Second.
Moore.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Gamble. Rasmus.
Yes, and there being no further anything else to do on the City Hall Public Corporation, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Shepherd.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Gamble.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes.
Now, I will call the special called meeting of the Corbin City Commission with a roll call, please.
Moore.
Here.
Shepherd.
Here.
Baker.
Here.
Gamble.
Here.
Rasmus.
Here. And the first thing on our agenda is I wanted to make a special presentation to the Corbin High School 2022 Red Hounds. For the first time in Corbin's history, we had an undefeated season. We could not be more proud of you boys. Come on up and become a Corbin Colonel. Coach Mayer, get up here. Come on, guys, you gotta get the picture.
Big
Somebody's
guys
gonna
in the
have
back,
to,
little guys on the knee.
Y'all like,
If you're under 5'10", you're on the knee.
Baker, you're good. You're under 5'10".
I'm under 5'10".
Oh, we're under 5'10"?
Under 5'10".
All 5'11".
I'm 5'11" too.
Come on, guys, y'all get down. Get down, there you go.
I got
There you
that.
go.
You can get that Jerry's in there. Look forward, Jerry.
I am, don't worry.
What a crew, I love it. All right, everybody scooch. Scooch, scooch. Did you get it? What a great group. Thanks, guys. Yes. Coaches, let's get a picture with you all. Bye, boys. Oh, you do? You're my best friend.
I was waiting for you. Whoa, man. Nice.
Oh, he tortures me constantly. I always tell him, no, it's good. Keep
You are. Can't do it.
That's good for them, you know? It's iron sharpens iron, that's what I tell him, you know, after we like go to him. He's like, I just don't really have to answer to them, because I'm not the city limits. I'm like, "Well, you're welcome." Nice to meet you. All right, yeah, let's get you all in, yeah.
A little smaller group up here.
A little smaller group.
A little smaller. Come up.
Awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Good job, guys.
How many
Glad
football
you all
players
are
do y'all
here.
have?
Come on.
About 85.
Your future coach? Awesome.
You guys.
Yeah, y'all good.
Everybody's good and real close.
See, it takes a village, doesn't it?
Can you bring him up? Yeah.
All right. Come in, is everybody in?
Don't give it to me first.
Can we move? Oh, that's recording. Are we looking over here or are we looking?
David Hammond, smart to sell that bunch. Yeah, right. They have.
Hey.
Okay, all right. And then we got right here.
Okay, so there's pictures in
Awesome. All right. Got it?
We still got cameras.
Oh my gosh.
Still got
It's
cameras.
making it big time.
My phone's ringing on my wall.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sue.
See y'all.
Keep Bob in line.
Go. Wallace, the good news is I'll put you next on the agenda. That way we can get through our audit.
Okay, so I'm ready to go.
Yep.
You can sit there, you don't have to get
Yeah,
up
you
the
can
wall.
sit.
Give me a microphone here, we know how well I'm.
Josh, help him hold his microphone so he can turn his pages. There you go.
Okay, if you go to the independent auditor's report, you're gonna see it looks a little different this year. It will look a little different either way, but in this case, you've got, 5 opinions. So normally you would have 1 or 2 at the most, but from now on, they'll be at the top instead of down at the middle. So the opinion units are governmental activities unmodified, general fund with blended component unit, that's primary government unmodified, arena fund unmodified, ABC fund unmodified, discretely presented component units qualified, we'll get to that in a minute. Business type activities are unmodified. So the unmodified opinions are basically the primary government. The one I'm going to have to look at a little more is the governmental activities. Qualified opinion of that discretely presented component units is simply because there's nothing else you can do with it. It's the way the actuaries do it. It's not in accordance with GASB 68, so it's close enough, but it still causes a qualified opinion. Matter gives rise to qualified opinion, and that's just what I just told you. So, you go back and look at 2019 financial statement, 1.9% of net position revenues are in the library fund. 0.03% of the revenues are in the library fund, so it's really not significant anymore. The next page just tells it, and you can read this yourself, auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement. One thing I will point out here that is new, the city, the board has to look at the financial statements and determine whether or not you've got a possibility of a you got a possibility that, you can't express an opinion because, everything's not there. In other words, a going concern opinion. So, really what you need to do, there is no problem, I mean, you can look at it yourself. Really what you need to do though is probably put that in the minutes, that you looked at it, it's okay, so that way you've done it. Other information, this is mostly boilerplate stuff here, I'm not gonna go over it all. By the way, this is a draft, now, probably about Wednesday, Friday, probably about Friday, I'll have the final for you. But this gives you a chance to look at it. I already went over it with management, we changed a few things. Now I'm going over it with you, with the commission, so if you've got anything that you need to say, let me know, we'll take a look at it. Financial highlights, the city's ending cash balance was $6 million. Included $1,942,480 in restricted cash, and the balance unrestricted. Government-wide combined net position decreased by $1.2 million. And the general fund had approximately $9.6 million in revenue. City's long-term liabilities decreased by approximately $4 million relative to, it says 2020, it should be 2021. If you look at that, the reason for that is because of changes in the OPEB and those liabilities. And it's almost exactly $4 million. I'll go over to page 11 or 12. This is your statement of activities. Okay, you got the primary government. The primary government ended with $12,943,136, and that was a $26 million in investment in capital assets, $390 in other, and $13 million in unrestricted. And you can look down through there and see everything that you need. The component units, the Corbin tourism was $1.6 million. City Utility Commission ended up with $38,458,000. Now, City Utility Commission and stuff like that, that's just copied from their report. I don't do that, so. If you go to the next page, which is statement of activities, you have a total of $12,980,904 decrease, $12,943,136 total. Next page is the funds. The general fund had $8.16 million in assets and $1.6 million in liabilities, and fund balances with $2 million of that being in liabilities. Page 12 tells you how you get there. Total revenues in general fund, $10 million. Total expenses, $12 million. So that's a net decrease of $1.3 million from last year. That gives you a little over $6 million. Corbin Arena Fund, $6,400,000 revenues, $6,300,000 in expense, and a net total of $122,224 increase. And mainly that increase was because of a grant you received. $780,000 of it. ABC fund's almost exactly like it was last year. $652,313 revenues, $652,307 expense, and net change in fund balance $2,482. For total fund balance $51,331. Page 11, you know, you got two financial statements here. You got a, governmental line, which we just went over, and governmental funds. So page 11 just tells you how you get from one balance sheet to the differences in it. Page 13, which should be on page 12, tells you how you get, from one income statement to the other. Statement of fiduciary position on page 14. This is the, Corbin firefighters and police firefighters fund. So held in trust for pension benefits, $2.3 million. That, if it doesn't, it's awful close to funding that. And you know, that used to be a concern that would it ever be funded, but it's awful close to being fully funded. I wouldn't change what I'm doing if I were you for another 3 years. After that, you can probably start backing off of it unless you give a cost of living increase or something like that. And page 15 just tells you how to get that. The budget, next time. And I need to talk about this budget you got. This budget is very hard to put on audit. I put it on there the way you got it. So, you got a decrease, or you're over budget. You might not be over budget if you were just looking at these three funds. The only thing you have to have a budget for is the major funds, which the major funds are the general fund and the arena fund. The way this budget is done is just convoluted, is all I can say. So, you might wanna reconsider how you do that.
Wallace, is that due to the new software that we have? I'm confused what you mean.
You did learn how to budget.
Oh, you mean this year, you're talking about this, oh, that's right, we did, we started it.
Yeah, you did learn how
Okay.
to budget.
Yeah.
And the line item budget is almost as big as audit itself. Well, you know, I keep put every line in it, there's just no way. But, you might want to reconsider how you do some of that. And by the way, it also includes, municipal road aid and, LGEA. And if you're gonna do that, you might wanna separate those as separate funds. You don't have to.
Yeah, like we've separated it.
You separate?
Yeah.
Okay, I started to say you don't have to, but.
Well, we did.
That's fine. Financial reporting entity, that's the City of Corbin Public Library, the Tourist Convention Center, the City Hall, city utilities, and that's all of them. That's what actually makes up the primary government. All this other stuff over there, pretty much, like I said, boilerplate. We got a capital assets, you started out with,
What page is that?
page 20, it shows page 26, and that, page numbers, I've been having problems with all.
Okay,
It shows page 26.
okay.
You started out with a net of $35,807,000. You ended up with a net of $35,427,000, primarily due to, depreciation.
Due to what?
Primarily due to
Depreciation, okay.
Leases, the leases you have are, you know, I talked to you about it a little bit. They're renewable on a yearly basis, so this GASB 87 doesn't apply to these. So these are the payments on these particular leases for the next 4 years. Refinancing bonds 2020D, David Williams Arena. At the end of the year, there was a balance there of $2,680,000. Refinancing bond 2021F of the arena, there's $3.1 million there, that was done this year. Bond series 2021 Miller Park is $2,415,000. We have just a small lease here of $38,146 is all that's over there, and paid, it's about an hour every day. Other finance and leasing obligations, this is, Latin, I think. $260,973. And then the changes in the long-term liabilities, like I said, is down about $4 million. If you look at it, what you'll see is starting down where it says net pension liability, you'll see that that's down by about $4 million. That's what changes it more than anything. Last year it was up about $4 million. If you look at it, it's the same thing. That's what caused it.
What caused it?
It's the pension obligations. There's nothing you do about them. They just tell you what they are, and that's it.
Right.
Capital assets on the financial leases and, in the depreciation schedule includes rollback and road department lighting.
I'm sorry, what page are we on now?
32.
Oh, I'm sorry, I went too far. Okay.
We'll go to the pension plans. Page 35. The city's proportionate share of CERS net pension net non-hazard is $4.3 million. City's proportionate share of CES net pension liability hazard is $8.2 million, for a total of $12.5 million. And this is based on 2021. It's always based a year behind. The deferred outflows for the pension, $1.9 million. Deferred inflows, $2 million. And then it tells you how they amortize over the years. Which they actually won't do this. They'll change it next year. You know, you put that in there, but it really means nothing because they'll change it all next year. On page 37, this tells you the difference of 1% up or down in what you are able to get from the money that you have. So, non-hazardous, if you're 1% down, it's gonna go to $5.5 million. If you're 1% up, it's gonna go to $3.3 million. And hazardous, if you're 1% down, it's gonna go to $8.2 million. If you're 1% up, it'll go to $6.3. And that's just the way actuaries have to tell you that it can't change. We go to police and firefighters fund. Like I said, it's pretty much funded now, but you probably need to keep funding at least for 3 more years before you start backing off it. I know one city right now that's got the same thing. They just pay it. They don't even keep a reserve for it. Page 39, other post-employment benefits. Deferred outflows, this is OPEB. Deferred outflows, $1.8 million. Deferred inflows, $1.6 million. So you can see they're very close. And then the amortization on page 40, that's supposedly how it will go down next year. Again, it will change. Page 41, a 1% decrease will make that 1.7. This is 1% decrease in what you get back, you know, from your money. So we'll make that 1.7 million, a 1% increase, and it will make it 909. And a 1% decrease in hazardous will make it 3.6. A 1% increase on non-hazardous make it 1.5 million. Now the next one down that says 1% decrease is medical costs. This you look at your total OPEB. So if it goes down 1% decrease, it's going to be $943,500. Whereas right now it's about 3.8. If it goes, no, I'm sorry, 943,500, and then it will go to 1.7 if it's a 1 point increase, and that's non-hazardous. Hazardous will go down to 1.6 if medical costs drop, and we'll go to 3.5 if they rise, and that's by 1%. And then all that's doing is telling you, okay, this can happen, and this can change. In other words, actuaries are estimating this stuff. Need other important, okay, lease the city as a lessor, it's about $48,529 received in rent. This does not have, there's a new standard that normally this would be put in deferred inflow, but they are short term, so they're just rent. Municipal aid funds, we received $145,000. Local government economic assistance, we received $24,000. Risk management is typical,
Are we on 47 right now?
I'm 43. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get through a big area, yeah. There was no reduction in insurance from the last 3 years. We had a non-spendable fund balance of $390, which is just what it is now. Anyway, it's $390 of prepaid expense. I think it's insurance. Restricted fund balance. Restricted assets included $86,883 in police forfeiture cash, $1.7 million in American Rescue Plan and CARES Act cash, $19,825 in LGEA cash, $6,800 in municipal road cash, and $108,722 in ABC cash and accounts receivable. And there's a little more cash than there is receivable, but they're about nine. That's your restricted fund balance. Committee fund balance, $14,479 set aside for tourism, and $5636 set aside for police and fire special operations. Alcohol regulatory fees, almost exactly what it was last year. $652,377. And the city did spend that in accordance with the law. The city received CARES Act funding and American Rescue Plan funding for a total of $12 million. I think it's $1.2 million. The city also received $780,000 through the Small Business Administration and federal funding. This is above the $750,000 floor for single audit, for the uniform guidance. The single audit applies only for expenditures in the year expended, and which was $780,000 through the arena. The expenditures were over the threshold with the balance classified as unearned. Accordingly, a single audit was indicated. Subsequent events, basically it just says COVID's still out there. Required supplementary information. This is all about your pension fund, and I'm not going to go through all of it because nobody understands it, and it really doesn't mean a whole lot, and it probably won't mean a whole lot until 10 years pass by. Page 58. This is your single audit shuttered venues operators program. Consistent listed number 59075. The total was spent $780,000, so it went over $750,000. Basis presentation, basically it's the same presentation as the financial statements. Cluster programs, there was no cluster programs. The city elected not to use 10% of the minimum indirect cost rate, and the significant funding policies are what the uniform guidance allows. Next page is page 58, report on internal control of financial reporting and compliance and other matters. This is the financial statements. So there was a small matter of compliance that's been here a while. It's not a big deal, it'll start putting down there. But the actuarial study of the police department's pension fund is required to be conducted at least biennial, but the city uses 3-year interval. This is due to a conflict in standards in Kentucky law. We have no recommendation to change practice. And then there are 4 findings. I'll go over those in just a minute. The next report here is report on compliance for each major program, and this is your uniform guidance. So we go to page 62. The Times of Auditor's report issued for uniform guidance was qualified. Actually, for financial statements was qualified. Internal control of financial reporting, was there anything material weaknesses identified? Yes. Significant deficiencies identified? Yes. Non-compliance material to financial statements noted? No. Federal awards, there was no problem with federal awards. Cluster, or there is no cluster, but the numbers reached 7.036. So it has to be over 750,000. It was 780. Okay, here on page 63 are the findings. I think there's 4. So we'll go over these. I went over them with y'all the other day, but we changed them a little bit. 2022-001, there's very little control over crucial elements of the accounting function. Those charged with maintaining the city's books and records do not have sufficient training in general governmental accounting, and the city does not have an effective review process. Those charged with maintaining the books and records must have knowledge, skills, and experience, and someone should be qualified to review their work. The effects in which adjustments or entries are made in the books is often cross funds and creates out of balance sheets. Recommendation, those charged with maintaining the books should receive training, and there should be training in both general accounting and governmental accounting. It does not have to be deep into accounting, it just has to be basic accounting. We suggest they attend classes or specific training at least at the elementary level. 2022-02, any debit credit worthy to an account or fund must have an equal and opposite entry for a proper journal entry. Because this is simple lack of knowledge of general accounting. Criteria after the initial set of books are prepared, adjustment entries will almost always be required to correct or reclass certain accounts. In fact, journal entries are often made backwards. Now let me go say one thing. This was when we actually did the first part of that. This has been corrected, but it still was there, so it has to be mentioned. So these things have been corrected in this audit. Journal entries are often made backwards, out of balance. Either this will create an out of balance item, and in the case of fund accounting, will create 2 funds out of balance. Recommendation, again, we recommend comprehensive foundational training focusing on fund accounting. 2022-03, fund accounting funds account often indicate a mismatch. This is generally caused by a failure to reconcile the balance sheet at the account level. Now, you can go down through the balance sheet and just really get into it and reconcile it. But basically, just look at it. After a while, you get with enough experience, you're going to look at it and know, okay, this is wrong. You know, this shouldn't be a credit, this shouldn't be a debit. So, all it really means is you need to look at it. Criteria, compilation of interest should match equal and opposite. For instance, there should be an account that says amount is due from general fund to another fund, and there ought to be an opposite account entry in the other fund. In fact, overall, this is not all to the bottom line, however, it does affect the ability to understand the financial statements and may be considered misleading. Again, we recommend comprehensive foundational training. 2022-04, their alternate grade cross funding interest. That's about the same thing that I just said, except it's the funds, not the accounts. Okay, federal findings, there were none. Status of prior year findings, there were none. And that's it. Right now, this thing is messy, but when I give you the final, it will be cleaned up. So has anybody got any questions?
We can always take the time to look this over, and then if we have any specific questions, we can email Wallace and get responses that way. I know it's a lot of information, and especially it's incredibly messy this year. We got new software, there was some inputting being done incorrectly, and it caused a major cluster, and it has been corrected, but you know, not in time for this, so it's very messy right now. So, do y'all have any specific questions for Wallace? I mean, basically, he came last week and sat down with Marlon and I mean, I basically was like, okay, do you see anything that's like alarming? Like, is this something that we need to be concerned about? And he said, no, he feels like it's just a matter of not putting things in the proper place, and then that causes us to be
But you will
out
get
of
used to doing it.
Huh?
You will get used to doing it.
I hope so.
Your bookkeeper will get used to it.
Well, we're gonna, we've got it corrected, and we are going to send, Rhonda, and Heather to classes, and,
And to be honest with you, it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's really not.
Thank you, Wallace, cause it feels bad.
It feels bad.
It feels horrible.
You know, I look at this, my computer's messing up all day, so I look at this thing and I see where things are, just not spelled right or whatever, and the page numbers are wrong. And my computer's been messing up all day, so I feel bad about that. I feel bad to me. It won't look like that 3 days from now, so.
That's okay, and we may have you back next month,
That's fine.
if there's any questions that the commission feels like we need to bring you before the full board for, we're certainly open to do that.
One thing I noticed you did do is really, when we first got here, is we got here in June, but there were some issues that caused us to be slower, and we had to leave. We've got a very tight audit schedule in the summer, so we had to leave and then come back. But really, the first time I looked at it, I thought, there's just no way. The second time I looked at it, it wasn't that bad. So somebody had straightened it out a lot.
That's good. That's good. I think training is fundamental, obviously, and there's, procedures and everything, and like I said, with new software, it gets very complicated very quickly if you don't have the company that you bought the software from to be responsive and telling you what to do and how to do it. So I think there's a little bit of that going on too. I think everybody forgot how to work during the pandemic.
I think you're about right. One thing I would encourage your bookkeepers to do is not to try to emulate your former finance director.
What?
In other words, not to try to be Diane Lake.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
Diane's had her own way of doing things. She did it for 30-something years. Yeah, it worked. I mean, it worked, but 30-something years, you're gonna get a method that works.
We'll make sure that we do things in a process that make sense to the most amount of people, and especially our auditors.
And they don't have to do things in accordance to GASB. It has to be where it can be put into GASB form and GAAP form. But they don't have to do things in accordance with GASB.
All right, guys, y'all got any questions? If not, we will thank Wallace for his work, and we will be back in touch. Do we need, since this is a draft, I guess we're not gonna approve this tonight, so we'll get our final budget and we'll approve it next month.
Okay.
Okay?
One
All
other
right.
thing I was gonna say, besides like the inputting, is there any other recommendations you had for us or anything else?
Excuse me.
Besides what you've already said about the inputting of like numbers and everything, is there any other recommendations you have?
Now, this primary thing, now, like I said, I would look at that budget and see if you want to maintain that type of budget. And, you know, I can come down here and talk to somebody about that if you need to. But you can do it, you know, if you want to. It did mean a lot that you'd already got LGA and MARF, you know, in its own fund, because I didn't know that. But, you can put everything pretty much in the general fund if you want to. I mean, there's a book on government accounting that they have in Frankfurt that tells you that you can have one fund, general fund, if you want to, has everything. But if you're gonna do a budget like that, I mean, you're looking at I think it's 23-page budget. The audit is not much bigger than that. If you take the notes out, the audit's not bigger than that. So, you know, you don't want your budget bigger than your audit. Otherwise, you end up having to do the audit twice. But,
Yeah, many cities though, they have went to that style of budget though around this, so it's not like something new or anything like that.
you know, I mean, some people do line item budgets. It's just you gotta make sure that you can get those major funds out there. Because the major funds are the only ones that require budget. You've only got the general fund and regular fund.
And I think that we need to probably find a happy medium between wearing our staff out to where they're not able to do the day-to-day operations because they're so busy trying to work on the budget, you know, that we're not able to run the city appropriately. So I think that there's probably somewhere that we can land in the middle that's not so cumbersome for our staff, but then also gives the insight that you might be looking for.
I mean, that budget would have taken a long time.
Do I?
It would have had taken a long time to do it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, Wallace. And you don't have to stay for this extremely long meeting. If you'd like to go, that's fine.
I'll try not to fall.
That's okay. If you will, we'll pick you up. No problem. All right. Is Dave? I don't see Dave Cox here. You just.
Yeah,
Oh,
back there.
Dave, you back there? All right. Come on up.
Come podium.
Sure. You don't have to, but you can. That'd be good. Maybe the microphone will work.
No, I don't need the microphone.
Okay.
Short and sweet, very similar to what I've been here to ask for in the past as far as construction is concerned. You've got some new folks, so I'll give you the Cliff Notes version real quickly. We're not allowed as a school district, and Bob, interject anytime, I'm sure you will if I get off track here, but we're not allowed as a school district to spend school construction money on property that doesn't belong to us. Okay, so what's happened over here at our project at the football field is the property line runs directly down the middle of the sidewalk. So basically, according to our architect and according to our finance folks, I can pay half the parking lot with our money, or half the sidewalk with our money, but the other half, I can't. So I've talked to Marlon and just to put it in layman's terms, we want to do a little horse trading with it if we can. It's going to be about a $27,000 bill to replace the sidewalk in front of the football stadium after we get everything finished. It's going to be destroyed, taking turf in and out of there and equipment in and out there, so there's no question as to whether or not we're going to have to do it. We're more than willing to do our half. I'm asking the city if they would do theirs, and I don't come here asking the city to do things that we can't kind of reciprocate with. The last time we did this down at the elementary school, you folks helped us with some sidewalk behind the elementary when we were doing the very same thing. We came back and we paved a lot over blacktop lot over by the Prince McBurney Center. Well, with the pool project going on, the project that we've got going on, there's very, very little parking over there right now. So what I would be willing to do, I say the school district would be willing to do, would be that far lot in the back that's grass right now, what was grass. I've received several phone calls from senior citizens saying that they didn't have a place to park. They could not get their lunches to them, that type of thing. So we went ahead on our own. We've already done it. We're not gonna take the gravel back up, but we put gravel down in dense grade and got them something to park on. It's something they can, now, it is a bit of a problem that they track in and out when it rains. But what I'd be willing to do, if the city would be willing to do the, portion on the sidewalk that we need, then I would be willing to go ahead, and as I mean, we, the district, would be willing to go ahead and asphalt that. And then we're only gonna use it about 8 or 10 times a year, probably. We might use it for some JV games, but probably not even that. But then, the Prince McBurney folks would have opportunity to do that year round. And, just for the folks who care about the numbers, your portion could be about $27,000. It's gonna cost us about $56 to do everything on that lot to get it paved and ready to go. We'll also stripe it, so there's some fine lines for folks to operate under. And we striped the other one not too long ago, and so that, we'll throw that into it since we've already done it. But that's kind of where we're at. And just, and again, just, there's no other way that I can do it, and we would be very grateful if you would help us out with that. The way it would have to work, and talking to our auditors and talking to David Jackson, who's everybody's contractor man right now, but David would need a check from the city for $27,000. Then we would go ahead and pay a separate company. Actually, we've got a unit price on asphalt for folks that go over there, so we can get it done pretty quickly as soon as the weather breaks down. So that's what I'm here to ask, and if you have any questions about that, I'd be glad to try to answer them. That's where we're at. So it's not an ask that we're not willing to help kind of pay our way, but it would be easier for me just to do it if they would let me, but they won't.
I think it sounds like a good expenditure of the city's funds, especially with the trade-off.
Where this amount comes, do we have to dig anything out ourselves for
No.
that amount, or no?
They're doing their work.
Well, they're doing it, but we're doing it too, so we.
Unless it's over 30.
Oh, sorry.
We need a motion.
Do you recommend
How
a
do you all?
bond?
Yes, ma'am. We'll find, we've got the money, we just have to move some things, but we've got it.
So, motion.
Do y'all have?
Dave, you did say that the parking area that would be paved, that's no restriction on that, it's gonna be open to the public?
Yes. Yeah, it's got a fence around it right now, but we just had the fence because it was so marshy in there that if somebody got in there, they probably wouldn't get out. But as soon as we get it blacktop and asphalt, we'll take the fence down and we can use it. And I was also gonna mention this too, and it really has no bearing on your decision, but we're also working to acquire the properties on the Roy Kidd side of the street over there for parking for this facility. And if it looks like we're gonna have an ample opportunity to do that, we're gonna leave those open for city parking as well, Nib Rock, that type of stuff. You're more than welcome to park. We're not gonna close this stuff off. It's just like our track down there. We leave it open and lights on it for the city as well. So we're appreciative of all that you do for us.
And we're appreciative of you all. I mean, we really are so proud of our school district. I mean, you're really a feather in our cap, shall we say, so.
It's gonna be nice over here. We get that.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be really.
Everybody's really excited. Okay, so I believe Allison made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes. All right, thanks, Dave. We'll get it done.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so next on the agenda is to hear a request from Sean Napier concerning parking issues on North Kentucky Street. And I apologize, Sean, that this has taken so long, but come on up.
Hey, pretty quick, I got a section in front of my house where my driveway, I'm concrete. I just hit this one out, some other people are trying to behind me, and it's different because it was out, so I hit one. It's just about a 30-foot section here, I was thinking painting, so I can get in and out.
Right, so you get trapped in your driveway, is that what you're saying?
Not completely, it takes a while to get out, I almost hit 3 vehicles getting out.
Right.
What's your address there, Sean?
514 North Kentucky Avenue. And,
Who's parking? Is it your neighbors parking like on the
neighbors,
street?
people that's visiting, some leave their cars out for a week, it's just,
Popular.
yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I do fish a lot, I do keep my boat in my carport, it's 20, it's right at 20 feet, and I back down and pull in, I concrete my whole thing.
And I went up there, I'm not saying,
Yeah.
I went up there today, I went up there because they told me, the boat out in the street.
Yeah. My boat, yeah.
be parked.
I ain't got no boat on the street.
There was a boat up there, I don't know.
Imagine, no, that's a park, I don't leave a, what is that, little boat on the street?
No, I don't leave it. I don't either.
Why not?
No, so I've been
I'm
Ralph Weiss
teasing.
up there. I got it, the one reason I got security cameras, I enclosed my carport and garage, I think my doors on it. I literally ain't got, we got a Tahoe, I got a full-size Chevy, I got a Strange, got another full-size Chevy, and there's other people that, it's just, it's
Okay.
getting in and out.
We'll have Marlon and Jeff coming. Allison, do you have a question?
No, I was gonna say that is a tough squeeze if all the cars are parked on that, if there's no additional parking on either side of.
Does Marlon have your contact information on here, or does somebody have it?
Just give me your phone number.
Just give Marlon your cell phone number and we'll give him that information.
606-304-2293.
All right, thank you.
So you're just basically one person.
Just that one section right there, they got plenty of parking. Some don't use the driveway, or the garage. Just one across the street's got a garage and a driveway. Well, not use it. They'd rather just park with the driveway. Yeah, and when they do that, the neighbors next door, where they like to park in front of their house, can't. And they'll park, and they'll park that whole section, you think, in and out. Two garbage people, mail that, FedEx, UPS, cause they use my driveway during the day, just, they would get through, so.
Okay. All right, well, Jeff will be the one going up there to check it out, so appreciate it.
Thank you.
All
You
right.
just tell them pictures, like, sitting on the road.
Do you
Don't
know
need
your
'em?
pictures?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, moving on, we can approve the minutes from the December 19th meeting. I'll need a motion in a second.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
Campbell,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes, approve the minutes from the January 9th work session.
Make a motion.
Second.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes, approve the December bills.
I make the motion to approve the December bills.
Second?
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes, presentation by Sherry Chapel, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet District 11 Engineer.
Evening. I'll give y'all some maps, cause I always like a picture of, project. Okay.
So this is a project. Okay, so this is a project, on Roy Kidd Avenue here in Corbin. It was identified as a safety issue through our Frankfurt office. This wasn't, anything that started at a local level. We have a department that looks at accidents, and tries to identify improvements, especially low-cost improvements that we could do to correct some of those situations. That's how this project was identified. What it is proposing is taking Roy Kidd from Kentucky Street to Depot Street and making that a one-way street. So if you were on Main Street and you were headed north, and you wanted to turn over to Kentucky Street, you could turn left. The road would be one way to your left. With that additional lane, we would add some striping for additional parking there. If you're on Main Street and you're headed north and you want to turn, east, like to the underpass, that would also be a one-way street. That you could turn east, and we would take that additional lane and add additional parking in place of it. What this would do would eliminate some of the accidents that currently we're having there at Roy Kidd and Main Street. The building has the very poor sight distance. There's quite a high angle collision for that intersection, and for the intersection at Depot and Roy Kidd also. This would address some sight distance issues at that location also. We have this designed in a package to let in February with a couple other HSIP projects throughout the district. The maintenance traffic was put that it would not, the road would not be closed to Nimrock. That would not be important locally. But if you have any questions, I gave you 3 maps. Actually, one is the plan sheet that shows the parking. The next one just shows the signs, and then there's another one that shows the striping. This is just part of the proposal package that we have ready to send out in the end.
I do have a question, because I think I'm getting a little bit confused. Okay, so if I'm going down Main Street, it's one way, so I can only go one direction. So if I get to Roy Kidd, I can take a right to go under the underpass, and that would be one way.
Correct.
Or I could take a left?
Yes.
Okay, so I thought it was both gonna be one way, both directions. So it'll be like this, so you got
Yes.
3 choices when you get to Roy Kidd.
That is correct.
Okay, that makes, yeah, all right, got it.
And that eliminates some of the sight distance issues at that location by
Right.
making it that direction.
Right.
And it provides about 18 extra parking spaces for the city.
Okay, which brings me to, I believe Mr. Hayes and some of his employees are here today to talk about issues at Cooper Heath and their parking problems. Does anybody have any more questions for Sherry? Or if you just wanna stand there, then Robert can come up and talk about his issues with parking. Okay.
I do have one quick question, I'm sorry. Is this possible to be modified if any issues come up? Or is it this or nothing?
Okay, you mean like once the construction's done, if there's an issue there, can we come back and do something different?
Oh, I mean this plan.
Oh, this
Can the plan be modified, I should say?
We can discuss that, what modifications you're looking at. That's definitely something we can look at.
Usually how many accidents have to occur in order for something to be looked at into like a study for like a traffic situation?
I haven't seen the crash data on this one because I wasn't involved with it. Usually if it's in our district, I'm much more familiar with it. But it had to be a pretty, as far as the number of accidents, either had to be high injury or for the volume of road on the volume of traffic on that road, there had to be a large number of accidents for a central office to identify this as a location to need addressed.
Is there a way for us to see that data?
Yeah, I can pull those maps for you.
Now, was that the same whenever with Kentucky Avenue? Was there crash data that was pulled up on that? Is that what, whenever we, moved the stripe a little bit?
That wasn't District
Okay.
11. No, that was Marlon and I trying to get more parking spaces for Kentucky Street and also to calm traffic down.
So I think my only question with this plan would be, and I like it, I'm wondering if it will create more congestion on Main Street with 18-wheelers since they can't turn left from Depot.
Well, they're having problems, that whole area's always been a problem since the truck route went out. So they go up behind the school board, behind Dr. Attenz's office, and they turn in that area up there, and then they come back out. And a lot of them go back down to Depot and take a right at Gordon, go across, and then go out.
Okay. So yeah, that's it.
I think one of my concerns is now we've been told, now we know that the state of Kentucky has told us that we have a problem with this area. if we choose to do nothing, to me, that, is irresponsible of us. So, that's my input on that. Robert, do you want to talk about the parking issues at Cooper Heath?
Yes, if you don't mind. And if I could, I just wanted to share some good news about the Corbin Housing Authority.
Please.
And Bob, if you wouldn't mind passing those down.
Well, that's what I do here.
Okay.
Pass paper. Paper
and-
passer.
What they pay me
Well,
that
it's
big money
always-
Well, you didn't have to get up to do it, but.
It-
They feel more important.
Okay.
It's always good to have some good news.
Yes.
But, and I wanted to recognize, Bob Hammonds, our general counsel, and also, Marlon Sams has been integral. Allison Moore, I just wanted everyone to know that when we were, having some dark days at the, Housing Authority, she came up and had a private meeting with me and said, any way I can help, I'm here. So I just wanted to thank you for that. Mayor Rasmuth has been working with us for the last year, night and day. The chief of police, Rusty Hedrick, has been there anytime we've needed him, so it's really been.
You know all this bragging gets you money.
Group effort. So anyway, the good news is, in 1 year, we went from a federal score in the low 60s, where the Housing Authority could have been taken over by HUD, to a 92% high performer. So
Because
in,
of Robert. Yeah.
so in, February, I will come back to the city of Corbin with a certificate where we can be proud and, we're back on a steady path. And so, I just want to thank all of you for helping us with that. And,
Thank you.
regarding parking, we manage the building at 302 North Main Street. We have 27 apartments. We have 23 parking places. So, this parking issue is really a huge concern for the Housing Authority, and we're doing everything we can do to have a vibrant residential and business section. So I just wanted to leave with you a letter of support outlining some of the details. Bob, please don't get up for this one.
Oh, no,
I'll do
let me do that.
All right, so I just wanted to give an official letter of support from the Housing Authority, underlining the, the dire need that we're in for housing. And also, there's 3 of my staff left on the back row. I just wanted to thank them for their hard work, and they wanted to come down also and support. But basically, I think this would be great for Corbin, and it's hard to rent residential apartments and you don't have any parking. And a lot of the people in that building are elderly too, so that compounds the situation. But I won't take up any more of your time, and thank you to everyone.
Listen, thank you so much, Robert, and thank you for your awesome employees. We appreciate you all so much for coming and taking time out of your day to support this initiative, and for being a big part of this awesome score that we received. So
Thank you so
we're
much.
really proud.
Thank you so much.
Really
Mayor.
proud. Yeah.
Mayor,
Yes.
Robert did mention that 5 of the parking spaces they utilize down there are being rented out to the business next door.
Yes.
So this would help with the parking for the insurance company also.
And I have hesitated
Yeah,
because I
keep them
know.
parking on my parking lot.
Get 'em
And
off your
Bob is on the
parking
other side. Well, and, we could take those parking places back, but we're, in addition, trying to support the business community. So it's really got everybody in a bad situation. So hopefully, everyone will give this a good due consideration. So thank you all very
Thank
much.
you. All right, does anybody have any more questions for Sherry on this?
Do we need a motion to authorize or move forward, or?
What's
The only thing you get on here is a presentation.
Okay, and it's a special call meeting, so we will vote on this at our next meeting if that's okay. The funds are available, or how quickly do we need to expend them?
funds are available for this. Our intention is to let it in the February letting.
Okay.
With some other projects, usually there's an economies of scale and we get a better price for small projects if we can let them all together.
Okay.
So we are submitting everything tomorrow for the letting package. We can pull it from that if I need to. Probably a couple weeks is what I've got left, to be able to roll it from that.
It said presentation, I think you can go ahead.
Can we go ahead since she's?
I'm on that.
Okay, all right.
It's an emergency.
I got one question.
They don't like, it doesn't like
It doesn't like it.
it. That's okay,
You
you
don't
just
want
talk
to finish
loud.
up. On the map, so, would you come over here?
Yeah.
Just a second, please. So, come in this, and right, and over here, and left and over here. So it's going this way, going this way, there's no right across this main street.
That is correct.
Coming down the overpass, you will not be able to turn
We're
left.
gonna turn back left on that road. Coming from this road, you won't be able to come back.
That is correct, yes, we will put a no left turn sign there so that people know that they can turn there.
Do y'all have any other questions? Sounds like we need to vote on this tonight, so I need a motion and a second.
A motion to.
Well, I have another question as well.
Okay.
So with the parking that is added here, has angled parking, is it shown to improve safety, or have you, like, why with it? Because we've talked about angled parking in the past in the city, it's not been very popular amongst the commissions, you know, as far as what we discussed before. It's been a couple of commissions ago, but we have talked about angled parking before. I mean, haven't we?
We've got a wider road there, Rowan Kid, than you do on Main Street.
That was on Main
A lot wider,
Street.
yeah, a lot wider.
Part of it is the commission, we can accommodate the angle parking, and then this is a lower volume road also than Main Street, to accommodate the angle parking.
I just, yeah, I mean, this is changing a city street and everything. I would just feel, I feel like maybe we might need a little bit, because this is not a state street, but because it is a city street, so I do feel like there needs, well, I understand they're paying for it, but we need a little bit more local input from it as well, because I don't believe with our special call meeting, anyone can talk about this, correct? Is that correct?
Authorized us to vote on it.
Do what?
Thought it was authorized us to vote on it. It's
We're
emergency, because they're
discussing,
submitting
we're
it
discussing, this is on the agenda. So,
Well, it says presentation, it does not say to take action on it.
Bob, what's your thoughts?
Well, he's right, I would just, if he's gonna raise the issue, then I have to, technically, he's correct.
Personally, I would like to see some of that accident report and that sort of thing as well before I vote to go ahead on something that's fairly major like this.
I'll get some maps prepared.
Will you be able to let it again? Like, will there be opportunity for this
You can
money?
still go ahead and do it, you just.
I think
I'll
this
go ahead
is,
and put it in the package, and then we'll pull it if we need to.
we appreciate the transportation department
And your time,
involvement
thank you for coming.
in this, and, you know, this is one of those things, like, we're growing, we're moving forward. You can't see grow. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. Kathleen, wake up.
I'm awake.
All right.
We'll make it quick. I know you guys have things that you would like to do when you go home in the evening. My name is Kathleen Crowley, and I'm health educator at the Whately County Health Department. This is Marcy Ryan. She's our public health director. She's gonna play Brenda White for me this evening. This is gonna be a repeat for Mr. Baker. He's heard this information already. Back in late 2019, the health department received a grant from the Bureau for Justice Assistance. And with that grant money, we were charged with implementing activities that address the issues that have been left behind by opioid use in our county. And one of the ways that we've decided to implement or use some of this funding is by providing deluxe boxes for the community. We would like to put these in high concentrated areas where a lot of people visit. like the water park in Williamsburg, the convention center there. And we would also like to partner with the City of Corbin to put an Alox box in the Corbin Center and in the arena. Because we know we get a lot of visitors to those specific venues, and we feel like this would be beneficial to the community to address potential overdoses that happen at events that may occur in your city. Inside the box, you can see it's a heavy-duty plastic box that's mounted on a wall, and we'd like the box to be mounted in a place that has easy access. It's not behind locked doors where it can't be gotten to, or if Mayor Rasmus is at home and she has the key, and somebody needs the naloxone that's in the box, we want it to be accessible to the people in the venue that may need it. Within the box, there are 4 doses of Narcan or naloxone. It goes by both names. A CPR face mask, some information sheets about how to administer naloxone, and it's not a difficult process. Anybody can administer the drug. It's a nasal spray, so it's simple to use. It's just a simple, you open the package, you put the container inside the nostril and push the red plunger and wait for a response. The good thing about Narcan or naloxone is if a person is experiencing an event that may not be an overdose event, and you administer naloxone, it's not gonna hurt them at all. It can be used by relatively anybody. Where we put the boxes, we'd like to offer training to the staff at those particular venues. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the staff that administers naloxone. Anybody can do it that is familiar with it, and there's instructions in the box. On the front of the box, there is instructions on how to recognize overdose. And the instructions come in both Spanish and English. And there's sometimes these are put in high traffic areas, and we want to make them safe in that there's the little zip ties that kind of discourages somebody from just going up to the box and opening it. But if you need the naloxone out of the box, it's relatively easy to snap the plastic. The box will have a QR code on the inside, and somebody within the agency just scans that, and it will let us know that the naloxone needs to be replaced, or that there's something about the box that needs repairs. We will make regular rounds checking the naloxone to make sure that it still is within its expiration date.
Do they have these at the hospital, like at the emergency room, or do they just have that there? I guess they have those there. Okay.
And our main goals are to ensure that everyone in Whitley County has access to Narcan or naloxone, to reduce overdose, obviously, in our area, and to make it available in places where there are high concentrations of individuals.
Right.
And to sort of change the mindset of the public to think about this as first aid, just like using CPR or an AED unit that you find in other public places. And the boxes would be free, and then the naloxone that comes in the box and that we'll be using to replace what is used is also free. So it's of no cost to the community.
Right.
I love this initiative. Thank you, guys.
Do you have any questions at all?
I'm just curious about, you said the arena and the Corbin Center. So like, are there other perhaps spots that could be made available, just things that pop into our mind?
Right, we are open to other locations. They do need to be indoor locations because this isn't climate control. So while parks might be a natural place to put them, they won't do well in that extreme temperature changes. So indoor locations, we're happy to consider that. We do have other private, like business partnerships we're working on, Corbin Library and things like that we're working on. But if you have other locations that you think would be good, city property locations, we're happy to consider those. We're just looking for places that have general public that come and spend time, and usually in numbers. So if there's a place like the police department, we probably wouldn't put one of these because we know that officers carry naloxone.
Right.
and we have a separate program for that, and they don't have a lot of public, or foot traffic coming in.
Right. And then, of course, our fire department has this as well, but, sometimes they're off on another run, or 2 or 3 or 4 runs. Sometimes it seems like, everything happens at the same time.
I do have a suggestion for a place would be the McBurney Center.
That's what I was thinking.
I think that would be an ideal place for one, because we have several people there all day long. Young and
And
old.
we also would like people to start thinking about not only individuals who suffer with substance use disorder that may overdose on an opioid, but there are individuals who use this medication for other medical conditions that may also have an accidental overdose. To think about that as a possible situation as well.
Thank you. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, anybody prescribed an opioid for temporary, like post-op surgical pain, cancer pain, especially seniors with memory issues and dementia and things like that,
I forget
can
that they've already
accidentally
taken it.
overdose.
Right.
So it's useful in all of those circumstances.
Okay.
We also want the public to know that if you would like to be a carrier of naloxone or Narcan, you can't get in trouble for that, and you can't get in trouble for using it. It's protected by the Good Samaritan law. You can obtain a supply for yourself at the health department. You just have to go through a small training in order to obtain Narcan for your personal use.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for your hard work. We appreciate it. And do we need to authorize this, Marlon? So,
We could go ahead and.
It says
do
authorize.
donate. Yes, I would.
okay, let's do it.
Motion to authorize the Narcan boxes in the city building.
A second, where does that say that to authorize that?
In the funds.
Discuss slash.
Does it say presentation, or?
It says presentation.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, it says presentation.
For the placement of funds.
Oh,
It's
the
at
second one.
We're at the
Do we
very, we're
need-
at, we're
do
at the
we
very
need that?
top. We're at the very top.
Yeah, you do.
So,
It's by the state, you can't take any action. You gotta have it on the agenda.
we'll do it at the next meeting. Okay, sorry.
No problem, just reach out and let us know once you guys get it authorized, and we're happy to walk through and find a great location.
I think everybody's
and
for it.
install
It's just jumping through the hoops.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know where to find me.
Yeah, I do. All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
All right.
All right, next, discuss and authorize a new separate account for the placement of funds for opioid litigation. I guess we can actually authorize Sky to open a checking account for our opioid settlement money. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
We need to say where, how many signers, who, thank you, sorry.
We need
We're
to-
at the best bank that gets, I mean, do we get any, can we do it in a money market?
No,
Why not?
not the way, cause
I would not do it in the money market,
why,
I would put it in a check.
how quickly are you all gonna use all that?
Yeah. I would put,
We've got 5 years to use it, and I would like to hold
I don't know
on
what
to.
y'all discuss, so.
I would make a recommendation to put it in a bank where it'll draw a little bit more interest, I think, because those money markets are.
It goes up and down.
Yeah, it fluctuates.
Wherever okay, can we authorize to put it at whatever bank Sky finds with the highest return on the account with 2 signers,
With
You'll have to name
myself
who the
and
signers are.
Robin.
with me and Sky,
3 signers and Robin.
and Robin. Me, Sky, and Robin.
Yeah.
There you go.
2 signatures.
2 signatures of the 3 required. Okay, can I have a motion for that?
A motion.
Thank you.
second.
Thank you.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. First reading of ordinance 2023-1, ordinance amending Exhibit A, and ordinance 2022-4, the ordinance adopting the annual budget for fiscal year 7/1/22 through 6/30/23.
This and change.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2023-1, an ordinance amending Exhibit A of ordinance 2022-4, whereas an annual budget proposal and message have been prepared and delivered to the legislative body and passed on August 26, 2022 by ordinance 2022-4, whereas the legislative body has determined that it is necessary to amend Exhibit A of ordinance 2022-4, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Corbin, Kentucky, Section 1, that the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023, including all sources of estimated revenues and appropriations for all city funds, as set forth in amended Exhibit A is attached hereto and hereby adopted. Section 2, this ordinance becomes effective immediately upon passage and publication as required by law. The changes include increasing property tax revenue to $1.6 million, which increases overall revenue to $16,445,692. Increasing the IT computer room expense to $32,000. Removing the contingency ARPA money from the general government and moving it into the rec center or Parks and Recreation Department. Adding city attorney retaining fees in the amount of $12,000. Adding legal supplies in the amount of $12,000. Adding a contingency, which is the remainder of the funds that were available from the revenues. Addition, making the total expenses in the general account being $1,276,020. Other changes include an additional $17,000 of training in the fire department, an additional $10,000 of equipment maintenance in the fire department, making the total expenses in the fire department $1,930,600. Changes in the recycling department for the equipment totaling $30,000, making the total expenses $485,650. In the Parks and Recreation Department, the Civic Center was increased to $32,000, and then the ARPA contingency was added, which amounts to $1,830,147, making the total expense in the Parks and Recreation Department $2,743,910. In the Building Inspection Department, the building inspection salaries was increased to $62,000. Annexation expense was increased to $35,000. And the total expense for the building inspection was $180,375. In special projects in downtown Corbin, the Engineer Street Bridge maintenance was increased to $7,000, making the total expense for that department $4,804,157. And the downtown expense, the legal expense was increased to $1,250, making their total expenses $164,975.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. Authorize mayor and city manager to begin the process of annexation of the roadway and right-of-ways beginning at the city limit boundary on Highway 25W to its intersection with East Cumberland Gap Parkway.
Motion to authorize?
Second.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes. Appoint the Personnel Board and Budget Committee. I'm going to punt on this because I'd like to speak to each of you individually and hear what subcommittee you would like to be on. They're both important. So I haven't had a conversation with you all individually yet, so I'm gonna wait. All right, new fire truck presentation. Barry, what's that all about?
James is going to.
Oh, I'm sorry,
It'll be
James.
quick.
Okay.
So it's been a while now, we got some new city commissioners. The front page is just kind of what the finished truck will look like, and then there's some progress pictures of where they're at with the truck. Like I said, it's just an update, nothing. The pump has been the holdup on it. It's supposed to ship this Thursday, and then they will hopefully to have everything completed by March. So, anytime y'all wanna go over there and look at it, they said y'all are more than welcome if you wanna go over there and take a look at it and go through. While they're still assembling it, you're more than welcome to do that.
I think we need to schedule a photo op, go up there to Southeastern Apparatus and let people see exactly what they do. We could take a tour of it. It's really a cool place, and they're building us an awesome fire truck. So maybe we could do a ribbon cutting of our fire truck there or something like that, you know?
They're actually planning that here.
Well then, there you go. Great minds think alike.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I
they
have a
don't.
question. I have a question. can I drive it?
Well, that's above my pay grade to answer that.
Sure,
All
you can
right.
find a key, right?
But just if there's no other questions, that's just, like I said, that's just a quick update on, it has been a while, and like I said, we had some new commissioners, just kinda
Thank you.
feeling some gaps.
It has been a while, but I'm sure it'll be worth waiting for.
It is
Thank you
worth
very
it.
much, James.
Thank you.
Yeah, and y'all keep us posted on when that's gonna be, and hopefully we can make it work where all the commissioners can be there as well. All right, moving on, discuss and take action regarding placement of baby safe haven box at the fire department.
We discussed this last month in the meeting. We have checked with KLC, our insurance provider. They said that it is doable. Bowling Green, Kentucky just put out their first one at one of their fire departments. And then Jack has the lady here that's over that, if you want to hear her briefly talk about it. But we do have approval from KLC that we can do that.
So it is covered under our insurance?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any, will there be any, other than, I know you all talked about pouring a concrete pad, I mean, is there any other out-of-pocket cost for the city
No.
to install?
And we may not even have to pour a pad, if we can move the ice box out of the way it's in the station. We may not even have to do that, we're just gonna have the contractor cut it out and put it in front of the station. There's two different spots, there's one on the side, there's one in front. Molly is not here tonight, her son just tested for COVID, or earlier, when I talked to you, he tested positive for COVID, so I told her not to come. If we need to talk to her, we can call her on the phone. We have the funding available until the 20th of the month. Once the 20th is up, because the way it works, the way the grant, I'm not really understanding the whole grant funding. But once the 20th is up, they gotta go back and reissue the grant again. So, as far as the liability of it, we're more liable, like Marlon said, we're more liable if we don't do it than we do it. But there may be an option, we can go right directly in front of the building.
It makes no difference because the insurance is covered for it.
Yeah, insurance covered, all right.
Insurance is gonna cover no matter what.
I guess, but there is the question of the cameras in the front of the building.
So, the one camera that we looked at, I looked at dispatch last night, I went over it last night, and Rusty might can tell me. The camera we got in front of the fire station is pointing kind of, if you're looking, this is the fire station, it's pointing toward our vehicles. The camera points at the fire department's vehicles, the firefighters' vehicles. So we can move it just literally just like an inch, and it clears it out. So,
Okay.
if you walk up and stick something there, then we're not gonna see Miss Susie walking up and putting something in the box.
I'm beyond that time of my life, but okay.
Oh, well, if you.
But I might consider it.
If Miss Susie wants to bring it up.
Can I put a 26-year-old, 130
If Miss
pounds,
Susie wants to bring it, if you
5'8"?
can stick a 26-year-old in that box.
Sorry,
bring it
kids.
on.
Sorry, kids.
We'll stick
Just
it in there.
kidding.
But
Just kidding.
if you or Allison wants to bring a 26-year-old here and
Just
stick it in the
kidding,
hole,
just kidding.
then that's fine. But I think we can move the cameras just a smidge
Okay.
without getting anybody, and all it is, it's not nothing, there's no law that says we can't have a camera on it, we just.
Be better for people to feel more
Some kids and
comfortable.
everybody else does not want a kid or a camera shining directly on it because they feel like it's a liability. I mean, it's the caregiver giving away the child doesn't want to be identified. And once they put the child in there, then it's there, it's ours.
I like it personally. I like this project.
You know, and that's like you and I talked, and Marlon and everybody else talked. We're more of a liability if we don't do it because of
I
the
hear
fact
you.
that KRS passed 2 years ago that the fire departments are safe havens.
Right.
This is gonna issue a alarm system, and we're gonna be notified of it, and we're gonna have EMTs, we're gonna have everybody else checking on it. Yes, sir.
Now this does say take action, so.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion as stated in the agenda here.
To authorize the placement.
Copy your motion, bro.
And authorize the mayor to sign, there's a contract.
And authorize the mayor to sign it because there's a contract.
I second that.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes.
I'll
Thank you.
contact Molly
Thanks,
Harris
guys.
tomorrow with St. Joe London, and if you give me the contract, I work Friday and Saturday. So
Do I have the
I'll come in
contract?
Friday and get the contract from you. I think Marlon has the contract, right, Marlon?
I'll check.
If not, I can print another copy of it off, ain't no big deal. I'll print a copy of it off, I'll bring it to you Friday, we'll sign it, we'll get it ordered.
Okay.
And I'll get the contractor to take care of it.
Thank you, and
Thank you for coming, sorry about how long it took.
Oh, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Okay.
Liz, what else have I got to do on Tuesday night,
You,
right?
well, obviously, you just had a lot of talking to going on during the meeting.
You know, it's what it is, you know?
Just kidding, Jack. All right, approved tax refund to Kentucky First Properties in the amount of $87.36 for 2022 bill 11405. The PBA decreased their assessment.
motion to approve.
Second.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes, accept resignation of Patrolman Jarrett Carr effective 1/24/23. He's gone with the Sheriff's Department. We will get our money back on his training. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes, city manager's report.
I don't have anything right now.
All right, tourism report. What?
For the city
Okay,
manager's
sorry.
report. I noticed on the handout that you gave us for the updates in the departments, it said that the pickleball nets were gonna be hung up in the spring. Can we move that up?
Right now, till everything's finished, it's still considered a construction zone now. And the weather will, right now, the cold weather will ruin them if we put them up right now.
Okay, so how soon can we open it?
As soon as March, by the end of this month, 1st of February, we should be done with everything.
Okay.
You said when again, I'm sorry.
By the end of this month, 1st of everything, we've got a lighting issue we've got to correct, and myself and the contractor and the lighting people will be there the 26th to check it.
Okay, so it's January, so you're saying the end of February, 1st of March?
Yes,
Okay.
Perfect, all right.
because we're gonna still get weather. And we put them out there with ice and everything goes away.
Like we hope though, right? It could be May though, right? I mean, it could be very, if the weather's horrible, right?
We just have to play with the weather. I think
Yeah.
once March gets here, we can,
Okay.
All right, moving on, tourism?
No report.
No report. Thank you for your awesome, trip to Chicago, went and promoted us, we appreciate that, hear that went great, so.
It did.
Exciting, all right, awesome. If nobody can have anything to say at the special call meeting. Executive session pursuant to KRS 81-810-1B to discuss the future acquisition or sale of real property and take action as a result thereof. May I have a motion, please, in that, in a second?
Make a motion.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
Rasmus.
Yes.
Buddy, you just moved around. You have to go, you will be done later. He did, he was so helpful.
I got a big list.
Yeah.
Tells you how long it's gone. All right,
Roll call.
roll call.
Moore. Here. Shepherd,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Gamble,
Here.
Rasmus.
Here.
Board of Commissioners met in executive session pursuant to KRS 81.810-1B to discuss the future acquisition or sale of real property. No formal action taken.
And this being a special called meeting, we can't discuss anything else, so I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Gamble,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.